Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to a very spooky LCI Live.
We even have
Spectacular.
we have a new font. I see.
Oh, I see. It's like a special spookiness.
Spooky ghost font.
Oh, and it says my name's Jerome. Jerome's listed twice.
Oh, spooky.
Oh yeah, I just see that now at the bottom corner. That's cool. Cool beans.
My lighting
So,
is bad.
I'm gonna move it over here so I can see. I feel like it's
I'm looking to see how to change this. Okay.
Sure, but then you won't be looking at the camera.
okay. Well, then move that one over here.
Maybe
Sorry, we're organizing things. Hi, everybody out there. Instead of us just like zoning out here and being silly, thank you for those of you who do tune in. Before we get started with our topic, we want to remind you to make sure you comment, like, subscribe. We have like well over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
I know it's not that many, but in the scheme of things, but I'm proud of us. So please subscribe. We would love for you to do that. We always do our best to drop informative life coach related content for coaches and those interested in coaching. All right, let's talk about today's topic. I feel like we should have Jen introduce today's topic.
Oh, why? Why is that?
Because
you've got good
you're the one
first-hand
who knows
experience.
the stories. Like
Yeah.
Jen did our research today for us. So,
Well, first, Jen, what are you? Who are you?
Oh, I am Wednesday Adams.
yeah, it's hard to see the braids. When you lift them up, it comes together.
I needed more. Let's be honest. I needed more of an outfit. I just didn't feel like buying anything other than a wig. So
Look what I did. I'm wearing pumpkins on my
She's
head.
not even wearing a costume.
I have ghosts on my sleeves too. I just live
Wow.
in the Halloween spirit. I have pumpkins tattooed on my arm. That's, I am.
Put it on my face.
Lisa, do you have tattoos on your face, or is it face paint? What is that?
Tattoos.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Like, you're both kind of decorated as Halloween.
yeah, just
You're not
decorated.
wearing a costume though. You're
Well,
just
I don't normally wear hats, so I'm wearing I'm a
you're
cowboy.
in Colorado. I'm sure many people from Colorado wear hats like that.
And,
Oh my God.
Jerome is the baseball player.
yes, he is.
Jackie Robinson.
And if
Specifically,
you're just
Robinson.
listening to this, we've now described what we all look like for you. Anthony is a bird.
I'm me and Jen are the only people who are actual characters. Jerome is a real life person who's no longer alive. I'm Sussy from K-pop Demon Hunter, except I didn't do the makeup, so I don't really have room to judge other people by the amount of effort.
Wednesday.
But I did make this beak.
Can you understand Anthony with that on? Is that
Yeah,
can you
so
guys
far.
hear? Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
I gotta just.
oh,
here's my
that
mouth. I gotta
Okay,
talk.
That's really creepy. Okay, so Jen, what are we talking about today?
we are talking about coaching horror stories.
Gather around the campfire. We're gonna spill the tea on our clients.
Not
And-
our clients. These
yeah.
are not our coach stories. Let's just talk about that first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These stories are not our experiences. Where are these stories pulled from? Jen, where did we get
Hunted
these?
and gathered. You gotta say hunted and gathered.
So a lot of them are from Reddit, and a lot of them are from articles written. So
Okay, so we did some research. We pulled up. Now, the only person who knows what these stories are is Jen. So she's going to share them with us, and then we're going to all blind react, right, to whatever it is that she shared. We've not heard it, so if you can't see, we have to be audible with our reactions because those people who are listening on the podcast are not going to be able to see our horrified faces. So we're going to have to
Or just
see.
describe.
And we're going to talk about what went wrong, what went right, what you should do different, all of that good stuff, right? That's the plan?
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, I love that. So Jen.
Yeah. Start with a coach story, or should we actually?
Jen.
Let's do.
roulette.
No, we'll have Jen pick.
You pick, Jen. You pick.
to do the most important thing, and that is coaching school horror stories.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh,
We're gonna talk crap on all the other schools.
Yeah.
no.
So
Don't
not
name
all-
any. Don't name them though.
No, of course not.
Yes, that's the other thing. We're not using anybody's real names.
Anonymous.
No real names. Coaches, clients, schools. Otherwise, will be used in this. We have changed the names
Yeah, like Boney
and the
Tobbins.
locations it's to protect the identities of those involved. Okay.
Yeah, no names, don't worry. So the first one is one that potentially our students have been exposed to, and that's why I think we should talk about it. It starts off with a funnel, and at the beginning of the funnel is a podcast, and the podcast makes
Is
you
it
think
us?
that you can change your whole life with this specific way of thinking. And it's very intriguing. It hooks you. I myself was even hooked by this podcast. And I was a listener of this podcast for a little bit of time.
Don't say which podcast.
Very briefly, what is the way of thinking? Is it like manifesting, or is it something more specific or general?
It is your circumstance
Mhm.
exists
Mhm.
and it's neutral. And then next happens your thought about that circumstance.
Okay, so it's like a reframing, framing kind of situation.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a feeling happens based on that thought. And then you take action from the feeling.
Okay.
So if you're thinking it sounds a little bit CBT like, that's because it definitely is.
For those that don't know what CBT is, cognitive behavioral
Oh,
therapy.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, yeah.
stands for something else.
Therapy, which is not something a coach should be practicing. Okay.
So basically, with this framework, we'll call it, it allows someone to believe that they are in full 100% control of their everything. Because if you can control your thought, then you can control your feeling, then you can control your actions, is essentially what they're saying.
Okay, well, so really quick, I know I immediately see the flaws, but before we talk about the flaws, let's talk about why that might be attractive to people, right? Because then it like gives you this, well, I can change the way I think and the way I feel and the way I react, and that's empowering, right? It's an empowering thing. To be able to have the ability to do that. And I'm not saying that isn't true, right? That isn't not true.
Right. It does work sometimes. I actually think that is something that is real for me sometimes. I've explored it. It's definitely not 100% of the time but sometimes, yeah, I can change the way I'm thinking, change the way I'm feeling, and then take a different action because of it. Sometimes
Anthony looks a little suspicious.
Well, I got stuff on my face.
He's a little
got
suspicious.
makeup on my face though.
Not still.
Yeah, that kind of like assumes that, or doesn't assume. It just like kind of ignores the fact that we have an unconscious mind that we don't have conscious control of, and it's. might be reading too deep into this, but it sounds like they're just kind of lying to you by saying you have full conscious control of everything about your person, and if you just change these things that you think you're changing, then you get the result you want, which is not exactly true. There's a lot of things in your control, but there's a lot of things that are not in control
as
too.
well,
And
right?
you have to learn how to deal with that after the fact, rather than believing you're doing something beforehand.
And it also completely dismisses like huge groups of the population, like people who don't process emotion in the moment, people who don't, people who suffer from trauma, people who like, there's all of these things that it just sort of goes, oh, you should be able to, you know, and that's not always the case. And it's not your fault all the time if you don't work that way. You know what I mean?
It doesn't sound very scientific.
So there's holes, right? There's holes in there.
There's holes for sure. And there's the potential for that to be used for gaslighting purposes, because you essentially can use it to say, well, it's your thought about that thing that is why you feel that way. And so that's the problem. Change your thought and everything's fine, because you'll change the way you feel.
I can think of so many horrible examples in history right now.
Oh yeah, no.
Or
We don't
just
need
like,
to get
just change the way you think about this horrible situation, and it's fine.
Not always the case. So, but probably born from a place of trying to help. The biggest red flag, though, is that is not coaching, right? That right there is not coaching.
No, it's more just like a concept or a principle.
So I'm really curious how this concept and principle equates to a school.
Yeah, let's continue with the story.
That is based on life coaching.
Well, so that's the thing. Because coaching still stands as an unregulated industry, this person was able to claim that as their framework for life coaching. And so they have a school. I'll get there. They created a school based on teaching people this framework and essentially saying that you can change your life in every way. You can solve every problem. And by the way, you can make a ton of money doing this.
I'm going to assume they're not accredited, are they?
Wow.
Yeah.
And how much, well, first two questions. How much are, so it's not, they're teaching this. How does somebody make a ton of money by joining the school? Essentially,
so the funnel again is you start with a podcast, and then the podcast gets you interested in. I'm not 100% certain on the details of it, but I believe from what I've researched, it sounds like a bit of a group coaching program, and it's $300 a month. So I guess you could say maybe like an entry level buy-in, and then from there,
$300 does not sound like entry level buy-in.
No, that sounds like a lot of money for just
crazy, but
a podcast.
It is, but at the same time, if you are like wanting change and it's speaking to you, I think a lot of people could find a way to pay $300 a month for at least a few months, right?
Yeah.
To like test the waters. I have paid for my gym, like not 300, but
nowhere near that.
Well, no, my boutique studios, it's $200, $230 a month. So
yeah, but that's like almost the end all be all
that's
of like
for
a
unlimited.
membership.
Yeah, it's unlimited sessions.
We're just talking about the start of the funnel.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the start of the funnel. Okay.
So then you're in for $300 a month, and in this group coaching, you are sold on, if you get certified through the school, you're going to not just change your life, but you're going to change other people's lives, and you're going to make a ton of money doing what you've always dreamed of, living in your purpose, right? All of the things that emotionally hook you. Are you ready for the price of the school?
Yeah.
Roughly speaking. So we're not doxing them, I guess.
Yeah, roughly.
It's about $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of money.
How long do you go to school for?
Yeah, what's the duration?
So it's like 6 months to a year, but it's only just teaching you that framework. All of your conversations with people are.
But then that framework, what are you learning at the school?
And what's the timing? 6 months to a year? Are you going an hour a week? Are you going 3 hours a month? Not that I'm asking. Yeah,
I don't know the details on it. It sounds like it's a few hours a week. It sounds,
but still, that's a lot of money. Okay, let's.
We have the setup. There exists a place where you can spend a lot of money. Where does the horror stories come in from people who have gone there?
Well, what's the end result?
Yeah. What are these Reddit posts saying?
Okay, brace yourself. Okay. So after you've spent the $300 a month for a while, and then you spend the 18-ish K, okay, then you're certified, and you still can't figure out how to get clients and make money being a life coach. So guess what you get funneled into?
There's more?
There's more. You get funneled into a graduate of the school who started a how to make money coaching program, group program.
Okay.
And the investment for this one will be $2,000.
Okay. Well, less than the 15,
Yeah.
18, 20, but
But
still.
with $2,000 after you just spent $20,000
I mean,
essentially.
at that point, though, you're like, it's cheap. I just spent $20,000.
So they get you.
So then it keeps going. It keeps going. There's layers.
Because now they've got you. They know you're going to spend money. How much can they suck you dry for,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So this $2,000 investment allegedly gets you to earn $2,000, and so it's sold to you as it's worth it. You invested $2,000, you made it right back. And
That's not an investment, by the way.
Because
but-
it's not you have it's not, you're not seeing a return.
Investments typically make more money than you put in.
Yeah. In a good investment. It's an investment. It's not a good one. Yeah.
So, but with that evidence of like, oh, I made my money back, it worked. The next funnel is a much more exclusive high-end mastermind.
Oh,
You ready for this price?
what?
How much?
Oh.
$25,000.
Oh my God.
You're lying.
This is place 6
months.
months.
Per 6
Sure
months.
this is a real place.
Is this still happening? Yeah.
1000% a real place. I have been on Reddit reading these horror stories since I started working here. Just FYI.
Oh my God.
$25,000.
We're
Who
not
is
up
keeping them
to
in business?
roughly $50,000.
Yes, there are literally people that have spent over $100,000 on trying to learn to have a coaching business. On trying to learn to coach and have a coaching business.
Call somebody.
I was about to say, like, this would be a good Vice article.
I feel like, yeah, we need this. They need to do a
we should
documentary
research
on
it,
this.
dude.
That's just insane.
There are articles. I don't know if it's this exact
so-
timeline that I'm giving you.
But okay, if I come out of all of that and I made $1 million, doesn't feel so bad. But what we're hearing is that people are coming out of it and they're not seeing the return on investment.
I will say that in order to join the group that's $25,000 for 6 months, you do have to have already earned a certain amount of income for your past year. So it's not like anybody can just get in it. But at the same time,
Yeah, they want people who will pay
They want
$25,000.
people who have the money to do that. That's why. That's not for their benefit.
but it's not sold. It initially is sold as 6 months, $25K. But once you get in it, then it's like, but hey, you're going to need to do this for about 3 years if you really want to make the big bucks.
Oh my gosh.
That's
$150,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Just for the mastermind. If we add it all together, that's like 200. I mean, we're darn near close to $200,000.
Not any other element
That's
of running a
That is
business.
like
That is uncomfortable.
that is like
That is so uncomfortable.
private out of state college money. Like that is like you know what I mean? Like that is rich person Stanford, like Harvard. I live in California kind of money. Like that's nuts. That is nuts.
You could have gone to med school.
You could have gone to med school. Yeah, like holy crap. Wow.
So
I'm
specifically,
sorry to whoever did that and came out of that with no money or having lost. I mean, that would eat at you for a while, probably.
yeah, a lot of the people on Reddit have talked about having to go to therapy for what they've experienced, the trauma, the shame, the guilt of making these decisions. And there are people that have dedicated their social media platform, YouTube and such, to just helping share the scam stories so people can understand the manipulation and how they were a victim. Yes, they made the
You're in it. You're in the funnel, right? They're good. Like, it becomes it's easier to manipulate you once you're already in that funnel and you're like you've given a little bit, and then sunken cost fallacy starts to come into play, and it becomes a whole thing. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a hard live, you guys. If they're all like, I like it. Goosebumps. I'm like, oh.
So this one story in particular is even more disturbing. It's based off of this exact program that we're talking about, the $25,000 for 6 months. She basically tells you that if you prepay, hang on, I'm going to read it.
Don't go verbatim. Don't do verbatim.
Yeah. Oh well, no.
It's on Reddit. Anybody can read this.
Reddit post, you know,
It's
that
fine,
we're reading.
yeah.
I won't. Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. I won't say anything.
Not gonna dock.
If someone wants to do their own independent research, that's on them.
So the coach offered a prepayment option for the next 6 months. So this person put a $5,000 down payment and then scheduled 4 more $5,000 payments to reach the full 25 in time for the next 6 months. So she had been, you know, yeah. And then when she got into the program fully, she realized that, let's see, what are the exact words here? So she realized it was strategy sessions around thoughts, right? About changing your thoughts again, because this coach comes from that lineage of that framework. So that's what that coach is teaching.
Yeah.
And she basically said, you know, it was a mess. The call
paying for coaching, right? Like basically, yeah.
It's not coaching.
It's not coaching, yeah. You're paying for manipulation.
1,000%. It's absolutely manipulation.
And unlicensed therapy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3 months, she realized the program was not providing the value of $25,000 and decided she did not want to renew again. So she reached out to the team and said, hey, I'm not getting, you know, what I wanted to get out of this. I'd like my $15,000 in prepayments back because I'm not going to go for another 6 months. And they refused. They kept 15 grand of prepayments from this person.
No.
Wow.
What I don't understand is how is this person still operating a business?
Someone has to. I mean, eventually there will be an issue. Somebody's gonna get a lawyer and be willing to take it.
Someone's gonna write a Vice article.
It will happen. It might take a while, but I can't imagine it not happening.
This is what gives our industry a bad name. You know, when we're doing ethical, moral trainings and really doing our best to up level and help humanity, these people are just the scourges.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, it's if possible, if you take just the cost out, okay, taking the cost out, it's still not moral practice because they're practicing unlicensed therapy.
Right.
So, like, if we just set aside the fact that they're using unlicensed therapy to manipulate people into more high price unlicensed therapy, it's just that is immoral. It's just immoral. And greedy also when you add in that whole money bit. Icky gross.
That sort of individual definitely does not care what side of the fence they're coming on, because they're only coming on, they want to make that 6-7 figure.
I wonder, if is that their whole motivation, or do they really think that they're helping people? Like, do they really think it's got to be that they just? I mean, I can't say for certain.
I personally have explored this, and I think that the person is delusional and really does think she's helping people. I think she's a narcissist that just believes her own delusion, you know?
Yeah.
Based on everything I've assessed. I don't think this person is like intentionally trying to rip people off and harm people. I think this person just thinks they're doing business right because this is how you do business.
Well, and the thing with if it's true, like narcissists, they have very fragile egos. So like if anything, if you say that you're not helping them, that damages their ego. And if their ego is damaged, they react very angrily and would withhold that money because they're not able to accept guilt or fault. Because
The funny thing is
not make them as amazing as they are.
I mean, there's definitely business practices about refunds and that kind of behavior, but you know, before you've ever even gone to a class or you finished a class and you want to change things, that should be room to have that ability, if not all of it, to get a really good portion of it. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Depends on how they paid it. Depends on there's so many things. So like, it's hard. It's not as easy as you want it to be if you are paying cash, right? If you're paying through Zelle or things like that, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to get your money back.
The most disturbing part of it all for me is that the person sharing the story about losing the $15,000 says that the team's go-to gaslighting technique is the coaching framework, telling you it's your thoughts that are the problem, not their business model, not the way they do things.
You're just not manifesting it.
Wow.
Christine, I think that is a very valid point. Absolutely. Very, very much so. And I think that's the one thing I want to say in this. Like, I think there is a great deal of shame that might come up if you are someone who falls victim to something like this. But you also have to understand the people who are essentially who have created the school, they have had years and years and years of practice and learning with how to manipulate people and how to manipulate people out of their money. And they have created a process that makes it obviously very successful and profitable for them. So you walking in as somebody trusting and unsuspecting, and you get into that funnel, yes, there are different points for every person. Like we all have different levels of tolerance. And if you're somebody that has a higher level of tolerance for this kind of thing, you might end up further down the funnel than you thought possible. However, understand that the people who have created it have perfected that funnel to benefit them. So it isn't 100% fair for you to be so hard on yourself, and so full of shame because you're up against someone with a lot of practice at manipulating you out of your money, essentially. And so I think removing the shame from it, I wish there was a way to do that for those folks who are ashamed, for sure.
I think the hardest thing too is they're manipulating people that most likely have genuinely good intentions and want to help people. And yes, they want to make money helping people because it's work. But I think the majority of people that are going into like coach training, I think the majority of them want to help people.
Oh, absolutely they do. Yeah.
So that's just
the other.
There are easier ways to help people with spending less money.
Yes, but that's what I mean. Is there what Jen is saying is like somebody who's going in, they want to help people. They also probably had a lot of positive experiences along the way, and so that makes them want to help somebody else have that positive experience, and then they get invested in their own dream. Well, that'd be so exciting for me if I could actually do something I love doing, help somebody else. And you can imagine how like there's a lot of this like rainbows and flowers and imagining, and then you get invested in what could be possible, right? And so you're paying not for, when we just say it's a school, but really you're paying for a dream, a different life, an opportunity, a chance. And then so you have to go through a period of mourning when you realize,
oh my gosh,
it's not going to happen. I've been paying for this thing that I thought was going to be so wonderful. And you can see how people would get stuck in this cycle of paying more because they want that to be true so badly, right? And they want to know they did everything they could to make it be true. And so that's why, again, I understand and see how people could get into something like this. And I would encourage people, one, to get out if it's not benefiting you anymore, and two, to not be ashamed either, because I think people will be a lot more understanding than you realize. Yeah.
And that framework then teaches you how to gaslight yourself. Oh, the reason that I'm not making money as a life coach is because of my thoughts. Let me just my thoughts. And then I'll feel differently. I'll take different actions and I'll start making money as a life coach. It's all the thoughts. I just need to change my thoughts. Like,
you know who else has that? Is the twin flames people.
I was thinking of the twin flames documentary.
They do this. Theirs is called mirroring. Anyways, okay. So I think we're halfway. We're at 2:30. So we've gotten through one.
I will say the school that was charging $15,000 to $20,000 to certify you as a life coach through that framework is now closed.
Yeah.
And the coach is selling group coaching for $600 a year. So I don't know what you want to make of that. To me, that says that Reddit had a big hand in bringing that down.
Yay.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about too. And I remember when I first started researching coaching, that one came up a lot. And I didn't dig much deeper into it, but I definitely was aware of who the place you're speaking of. All right, next example. I'm ready for it. I'm anxious. I'm gonna cut my coffee cup.
There's two options here. Give me a second.
For those of you who are just tuning in, we're going through coaching horror stories, and Jen is sharing them with us. We have not heard them, so we're blind reacting to them.
Do we have one where the coach is the victim in this the story?
Oh, you want to go that way with it? I was hoping we'd get some in-session type stuff too. Yeah.
What about I was thinking about using that one where there's a summary of it and just read the summary.
Yeah, that won't dox anybody. That's an AI summary.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is an abuse case that involved a counselor who blurred the line between counseling and life coaching. And it resulted in obvious ethical violations, but massive client harm. So the counselor essentially took control of the client's finances, which is just...
How does that even happen?
I don't understand this, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, took control of the client's finances. And in this situation specifically, I think it's really important to note that this person had no life coach training. So this person doesn't even know what coaching is and probably thinks that a life coach is someone who helps guide you, like a dog on a
advice. Does all the things that we don't do for ICF certified. Yes.
So they take control of the client's finances. They begin billing for living expenses, coaching, counseling, you name it, just racking up bills.
Holy moly.
So this counselor is engaging in dual relationships, which are wildly inappropriate at this point, including hiring the client for personal services, giving them rides, basically breaching every professional boundary you can think of. So
I mean, it almost sounds like the counselor convinced that, okay, I'm gonna life coach you right now. So you are not capable of taking care of yourself. So just let me go ahead and take care of
so with
you
this story, it was like a 20-year-old who was a drug addict and was financially dependent on their parents.
Yeah.
The counselor sidestepped the client, went to the parents, and made a deal with okay, I'm in control of this guy's life and finances. Mm-hmm. I'm his counselor and life coach, and took control of it that way.
Wow.
Later, the board, pursuant to the Public Health Code, the LPC licensure board had an expert witness sort of look at the case. And these were the following things that were wrong with this. Also, I'm going to take this.
Yeah, take that off. It's a good idea. I can hear you better.
Yeah, dirty hands though.
There we go. I got makeup all over my face. So
that's okay.
The expert explained that life coaching is an approach that should only be used with clients who are free from acute psychological distress. The counselor in the first sessions diagnosed them with anxiety, general anxiety disorder, and I think something else. The expert opined that the counselor failed to understand the difference between counseling and life coaching, as reflected in his decision to accept the client in this manner as a life coaching client, notwithstanding his multiple mental health diagnoses that he himself diagnosed.
him with.
So
We're all covering our faces for those of you just listening. It's just
that's just the first bullet point, and there's so many things wrong with that like you're taught as an ICF accredited coach from the get-go.
As like an overarching thing for this is the reason why ICF has put out core competencies, has sought for so long to separate themselves from this kind of riffraff that is happening out there, and it is so very structured and has a model and core competencies and all of this. So this doesn't happen.
This is why I've also read some other cases.
And to set himself apart, set an ICF coach apart from all of the other things that might be happening in the world.
This is also like from other case studies I've read. This is why, as a counselor or psychologist, things like that, your clients for counseling are not the clients for coaching, and they don't jump from one bucket to the other. You can have a business that offers two different services, but you don't have clients jumping from one bucket to the other. If for some reason your client who you're coaching with needs counseling, have them go to a different counselor or someone else where there's no no question about it. Or your counseling client doesn't become your life coaching client, because we're mixing things, and especially this guy who's using
it's blurred every ethical line.
It's like, way too messy and blurred.
The next,
just calling yourself a life coach and say, I'm doing life coaching.
I'm a life coach. I'm going to go talk to your parents and tell them that I'm in charge now.
So the second bullet point as well, the expert then concludes that the counselor exceeded conventional counseling parameters by transcending ethical boundaries for bartering for services. Basically, like
purchasing items, giving him rides in his vehicle.
I'm not going to say we're experts in counseling, but this is all stuff that
this is from
pretty,
the American Counseling Association. They
just from listening to it, it's very clear cut. This is going beyond a professional relationship,
and it's going beyond like even a counselor or coach. You should not be giving your client rides, buying things for them buying things for you. Like maybe at Christmas, like every one of your clients gets a little something from you, or maybe but it should be professional.
Also,
don't buy your clients underwear.
What is the one?
Yes, I would agree with that.
There's one example I can think of off the top of my head where a coach is allowed to barter with their client under the ICF. You know what that is?
Reciprocoaching.
Reciprocoaching. Yep. So I'm a coach. Jen is a coach. We want to get some coaching hours logged for the ICF. And we both say, hey, if I coach you for an hour and then later time you coach me for an hour, we're square. There's no exchanging of money, or I'm not, doing Jen's hair later. Sorry, Jen. We just are exchanging the coaching services. That's it. And we each get an hour of coaching logged. That's really the only case I can think of where bartering of any kind is mentioned by the ICF.
I mean, the biggest, outside of all of the violations in counseling, what we want to take away for those of us who are life coaches and coaching, and for those of us who may be counselors or therapists or psychologists, and we want to introduce a coaching practice, the big thing is your therapy clients are your therapy clients, your coaching clients are your coaching clients. Those are separate entities, right? We can use coaching tools. I mean, therapists can use coaching tools. You don't have to.
Absolutely.
You can come and take a coaching class and never call yourself a life coach and use those tools in your therapy, right? Because that's not going to do damage. But what will do damage is when you bring the counseling elements or the therapy elements into the life coaching space, because now you're practicing unlicensed or you're calling
You're
yourself
yeah.
unlicensed things. It's outside of your licensure as a therapist if you're wearing your life coach hat and you're practicing therapy or psychology or what have you. Yeah.
It's like if you were hiding your hat while you
You're
were
like, you can see
and
this.
calling yourself a life coach when
Yeah.
really you're doing therapy.
Covert operations were other than.
Yeah, it's not ethical, let's say.
To me, the scary thing about this specific story is that the person was a licensed counselor,
Yeah.
and yet use the term life coaching to do crazy things.
Yeah.
And so for me, like what stands out is like, make sure, even if someone is a licensed counselor, make sure they're also certified through reputable accredited
They know
training.
what they know what coaching
They don't know what life coaching is if they're not. They're making it up. So
This kind of goes with a bad stereotype that life coaching has, and there are ways to address this as like a consumer, but that if you fail as a psychologist or a counselor, like you get your license removed because of something you do. Well, life coaching is an alternative I can do to do the same thing.
Which
So if you're picking a life coach who has a background in counseling and or psychology and they no longer practice therapy or counseling, just do a little research.
figure out why.
Just see why that might be the case before you continue
I don't know. That
on
information
with
may
that
not
coach.
be out there. So it might be worth it.
Or it might be a news article that is
No,
very
it might be
easily
worth it
searched.
as a client to know what coaching is and
Yes.
know, like, that is good research for you to do. If you're like, I want to pay somebody for life coaching, take some time to learn what that is so that then you can identify in a session red flags when somebody is doing something other than coaching you, when somebody is
Because-
prescribing or
Exactly.
diagnosing.
Because this is real.
But
there are going to be licensed counselors that, for whatever reason, I'm not saying that I think there's a lot of them, but I know they exist. I've heard about it. They use rebranding as a life coach to get around the ethics that they are bound to through their licensing. And they're
They can't get around it. Their
Yeah,
licensure will always take precedence over everything that they do.
I've
That
had
doesn't mean that they should operate as a coach and practice therapy. I'm not saying that, but their licensure holds them true. They cannot get around it.
yeah, but the worst case scenario though typically is they lose their licensure. Maybe.
but they can still practice as a coach.
They can still practice coaching.
I know I interrupted you, Jen. Go ahead. Finish.
The other thing too, though, to consider just in this is remember who this was done to, right? This was parents, right, who had a troubled child, right, a kid who's 20 years old. And when you're 20 years old, I don't care who you are, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. And you're imagine adding to that, you've got, substance abuse issues, so like you feel even more lost. So just like the extra levels of manipulation of this human being where they went to parents who were probably scared that their kid wasn't gonna, if they didn't figure things out, was gonna end up dead, right? Because that's the kind of fear that happens when you have a kid who's addicted to drugs.
Can you imagine what he told the parents?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna take care of it. Like like I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna make sure he's okay. Whatever that, or he or she is okay, or they or them. And so there's that level of manipulation. Then there's a level of manipulation of this 20-year-old, because I don't care who you are. Every person who has a substance abuse issue, it's not like they're like, my life is great, this is what I always wanted. Like that's not, that person is struggling and having problems and wants to get better and often doesn't know how, or is suffering from some other mental illness, right? So like it's just so gross and manipulative to people who are already hurting, and that's just rough. I hate this more than the last one.
That's why they dinged them. Was like, you can't coach someone who you also diagnosed, or who you know to be diagnosed, who's in like general.
Just don't do it. It keeps it clean.
I've got a story. The last story was also like a lot of these come from
usurping
insurance. Yes, insurance companies. who also, I just want to like make that clear. The stuff that I'm reading is from insurance companies who offer insurance and liability insurance to coaches.
Mm.
The next one comes for that, where it is the coach who is kind of the victim in the situation, but it turns out well for them. Essentially, it was a client who wanted to set up a new business and wanted to discuss this with a life coach about let me go here. It was a lack of confidence, really, that she suffered, and she wanted life coaching on. She wanted to feel more confident, to be more outgoing, to be able to successfully be the public face of a business that she was going to set up. They have this coaching relationship for about 2 years, and it doesn't say what the nature of the business is, but the business didn't take off, and she was forced to shut down the business because of financial loss. She then decides to sue the life coach and blame the life coach for the entire business failure because her expectations, quote, this is not found in the coaching contract, but her expectations, what she said, was that her business would be a success and guaranteed business success. And because that didn't materialize, and she didn't want to take any sort of responsibility, she, threatened legal action, and I think went with it. In the end, though, the judge ruled in the life coach's favor and dismissed the professional negligence claim on the basis that the life coach was able to demonstrate that he provided the contracted services that he was hired to do. And it was recognized by the court there were a number of contributing factors leading to the failure of the client's business that was not possibly tangibly related to life coaching at
Anything
all.
that had to do with the coaching. Thank goodness.
And then the insurance part comes in. It was like 20,000 euros. The insurance company was able to cover the cost of that, and everything, was fine.
So wait, why did the insurance company have to cover the cost for whom?
Of the legal costs for the life,
for
because
the
the
life
life
coach
coach
to
had
go
to
to-
pay legal costs
To fight it.
to fight it, but
that's
the
why
insurance
having
company,
covered that. That's lovely.
which is the real message we want to leave you guys with
Oh, is
today,
that the case?
is have insurance. But yeah, that's like a horror story that a lot of new coaches are afraid of. It doesn't happen, it's very rarely that is the case. But a lot of new coaches come in afraid, worst case scenario, my client's gonna, try to sue me. There are ways to prevent that, though, which worked out in this life coach's favor. The contract was clear. The expectations of coaching were clear. Nowhere did this coach ever guarantee that this person would have a successful business. And they had insurance in place. This coach did all the right steps, and because this client was unhappy, they decided legal action, but it did not work out for the life coach.
So we could,
or for the client.
we're saying coaching, which this is what we do, but it goes for any business. Right?
Yeah.
These are normal business practices that you, as a business, engage in. Errors and omissions and the different insurance, liability insurances. We as businesses in general, any business should engage in those business practices, for sure.
Okay, well, it's true. You should. I have insurance for everything I do. It's stupid for teaching Pilates, for teaching bar, for also just for getting in the water and scuba diving, and I'm insured everywhere.
Sadly, we have, sadly
Doing aerial, insured. Especially if people are trusting you with their money, then you should have some form of insurance. I think California law requires it.
Jen, do you have any quick horror stories? Micro horror stories. We got like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So there is one that also our students need to be aware of, and that is there is an actual business coach pyramid scheme. It exists. I'll teach you how to be a coach that coaches coaches, and it just goes down just like MLM. but there's nobody actually coaching in this pyramid scheme. Everyone is just business coaching to business coach. It's very
like, I can't start my own coaching business. So instead of starting my own coaching business, I'm going to look at everybody I just took class with. I'm going to charge them and tell them how to start their business. And their business is going to be to coach other coaches like them. And it just keeps going. And it's like, yeah, that is
their business is going to be a business coach and do exactly what I'm doing. And it's no one's actually coaching.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It comes from, and I mean, it's why I'm very cautious in this space. Is like it's because you sit in a room full of people who are starting new businesses, right? You're in a room with 20 other people that are starting brand new businesses. You're hearing them say they're scared about starting other businesses, and you say to yourself, "I could help them start their own business. I could charge for them starting their own businesses," and then it becomes a slippery slope from there. And there are some people who have like founded entire businesses on this type of thing, and it's not.
Yes. And it's not just coaching. It can also be in other industries. So for example, I found someone who hired a business coach to help them promote their art and sell their art. And they ended up being told that they could make more money teaching other artists how to make money as an artist, right? So they're teaching, basically the coach is saying, you should coach people in the way I'm coaching you.
It's still multi-level marketing. Yeah.
Nobody is actually doing what they're coaching them on. That's the crazy part about it. I've seen it with
like, you don't need to make money being an artist. That's not really your passion. Instead, you should teach other artists how to make money.
It's like a virus. Like it just sort of injects itself into the host cell and turns it into more versions of itself.
Yes, that is out there. So
yeah, when you take class with us, we encourage you to diversify your niche and coach people with real life problems and goals that are not just coaching related,
or how to
start your own coaching business.
The other interesting thing that you'll find is when you start to get get to the point where you are going for credentialing, ICF does not want to hear sessions of people coaching coaches on their coaching business. ICF will automatically fail those sessions. Those sessions are not going to be passable. So you need to, if you want to get your credential, really consider who else you can be coaching.
Real coaching.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's ICF kind of having that in place to prevent being part of that pyramid scheme.
And it is hard because a lot of reciprocoaching, you find in a lot of reciprocoaching that it is people showing up wanting, because they're starting a new coaching business, and what they want is to be coached on how to start their new coaching business. And honestly, I feel like it should be like, I can't coach on that. I'm sorry. For reciprocoaching, can we coach on anything else? You know what I mean? Anything else in the world? Because I guarantee you there are things that everybody could benefit from coaching on.
They could be coached on their fear of moving forward.
Yeah. Right. There we go.
Decisions.
Yeah.
What steps?
Your imposter syndrome.
Right?
Yeah.
And in my experience, someone who wants to be coached on their coaching business really just wants to be advised. They don't have to
know what to do. Yeah. They don't actually want coaching.
Yeah.
Because the coaching means that they'll have to go out and do the stuff that they're not doing yet. Like that's really what it's going to result in.
And the coaching also means having deep conversation about what works, what doesn't work, what's true, what's not true, all that, and sometimes people are like, just tell me what to do. I'll go do it. I just want a coaching business.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the time. And that's not what we do.
Yeah.
So if you want that, go hire a consultant.
Having somebody sit there and say, okay, do this, do this, do this. I mean, I'm creating a business. You're not creating a business.
Yeah.
I'm creating the business. So it becomes important for you to do the walk.
Yeah. To learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
All righty.
Well, I hope we freaked everyone out now.
I feel like we could do, that was disturbing. Be aware, those of you listening, that while there are horror stories, and we have covered them today, there are also a lot of awesome success stories out there. There are ethical practice. There are ethical schools like our school. There are people who really want to do good and go beyond just wanting to do good. They make sure that they are doing good. And they do that by getting education, by setting boundaries, by saying this crosses boundaries. And that does exist out there. So don't be disheartened.
There are people, myself included, who benefit and are helped tremendously by coaching conversations. Had I not, gotten into coaching, discovered coaching, no one was having conversations like that with me in my life. So to me, coaching has been massively impactful. And all the bad things that I hear about it, some of that's real, but also there's a lot of good in coaching as well.
So we're not here next week.
We're off next week. We'll be back the week after.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Come back and see us in 2 weeks. In the meantime, Anthony, you can go ahead and sign off. Yeah?
Yes, if you're scared.
Jerome hasn't said a word.
I just want to say these some of the nastier comments on Facebook, these are the stories that they hear, and then they just kind of
Yeah.
If you want more, go look at our Facebook comments. All right. With that said, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And if you're scared of being a life coach, don't. Take our classes. Learn that knowledge is power, and it will free you and it will empower you to go forth and be a good life coach, a good steward of the ICF core competencies and code of ethics, and give life coaches a good name. All right, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Happy Halloween!